Tariffs are on. Wait a minute. Tariffs are off. Or tariffs are on again. We're going to put a pause on tariffs so we can communicate. Or communications aren't going well. We're going to put the highest tariffs ever on. It goes back and forth. Are you pretty exhausted about all this tariff talk? Yeah, I am too, for sure. And I tell you, I wonder if there's, sometimes I wonder, is there really any logic or thought to this, or is it just like whatever we feel like from day to day? But anyway, so I'm Lee, Betty's behind the camera, and we are here on an absolutely beautiful day in Seattle, Washington. We're going to show you some images of the city. We've got the beautiful Olympic Mountains behind me in the Puget Sound, so it's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, something that, as an American from the United States who lives in Germany, and we hear about this tariff talk, some things that I've been thinking about recently are, what's the purpose of it? So it seems to be like there's a belief, amongst our president and a lot of people who live in the United States, they seem to think that Germans or Europeans in general don't buy products from the United States. And I don't know where that thought comes from, because where the way I see it, I mean, Europeans in general, Germans buy a lot of products from the United States, especially technological products and the service industry. I mean, you look, a lot of people have iPhones, a lot of people have Apple products, a lot of people wear American clothing. You see Levi's all over the place. Food and drink, American fast food is everywhere. So they do use a lot of American products, but it seems to be time and time again, the big concern is, why don't Europeans drive American-made cars? Why don't they drive cars that come from the United States? And I guess the blame is on tariffs. So we're going to jack up the tariffs on European products because, people in the U.S. love to drive foreign cars. We drive a lot of cars from Japan. We love cars from Germany. So why don't Europeans feel the same about our cars? And anyone who asks that question, I have to wonder, have you ever been to Europe? Have you ever been to Germany? And if you have you ever driven over there? And if you have, then you'd probably realize why they don't drive a lot of U.S. made cars, because they're just not practical for the roads for a few reasons. Number one, for the most part, U.S. cars are too big. A lot of European roads are designed around medieval cities, and sure, the highways are plenty big, but the small roads in the towns and villages just aren't big enough to accommodate huge Suburbans or Tahoes or whatever the case may be. So the vehicles just are not practical in Europe. And also, and parking can also be very tight. I mean, if you've got a big, American truck, you're going to have a hard time finding parking in many European cities, towns, and villages. It's not going to be easy. And then you've got the fuel cost. Fuel is a lot more expensive in Europe than it is in the United States. And I hear a lot of Americans complain about the price of gas, but it's nothing in the United States compared to what it is in Europe. So, and American cars just tend to use a lot of fuel compared to American and Asian cars. Now, Europeans will buy foreign cars because if you look at the car market in the European Union, about 25% of the new cars sold in Europe right now are Asian brands. They either come from Japan or South Korea, for the most part. And also, they are buying more Chinese cars now too. And and if you look even more closely at that, so about 25% are brands from Asia, but and then about 13% of the cars sold in Europe are actually produced in Asia and shipped to Europe. So they will buy foreign cars. But if you look at the Asian cars, they identify the market in Europe and they adapt their product to the market. I think Japanese cars are great at that, and even the South Korean cars, because you'll see Japanese cars in the United States. You'll see Toyotas in the United States that you'll never see in Europe, because they develop big cars for the American market, because they know people in the US want big cars. So Toyota makes big cars. They make, the Toyota Tundra pickup trucks. They make Land Cruisers and things like that for the American market that they don't sell in Europe, because Europeans don't want them. So if Asian, car manufacturers can do that, why can't American cars? And when we talk about the practicality of autos, from my experience from living in Germany, Germans are very practical people, right? They want to spend their money on something that they need and they're going to get use out of. So for the few people in Germany that, say, for example, need a pickup truck, more often than not, it's going to be an American brand. You'll see quite a few Ford F-150s, you see some Ford Rangers, and you see some Ram pickup trucks. You don't see very many Chevrolets. I'm not sure why that is. But whenever you see a pickup truck, more often than not, it is an American brand, even though Volkswagen and Mercedes actually make pickup trucks. But I would say you see more American brand trucks in Europe than you do German brands. And so they will buy American products if it's something they need, but they're just not going to buy big Yukons or Suburbans because they just don't need them. They're not practical. They use too much gas and they don't fit on their roads. And the other product, switching gears a little bit, that I hear a lot of talk about is, the President Trump wants Europeans, and he wants the EU to buy more food from the United States. And I would say a big reason why a lot of food from the United States isn't sold in Europe is because it breaks EU laws. The European Union has very strict laws on food safety, the ingredients in foods, and they just simply don't think a lot of American products are safe, to be honest. I know there are products, I think Mountain Dew, for instance, isn't sold in Germany, and some other things, a lot of colorings we use. So again, if we want to sell our food products or more of our food products in the European Union, in my opinion, we need to adapt our product to meet the market instead of expecting the market to adapt to the product. So just my thoughts. Who knows what's going to happen in this world? These talks of tariffs, they're on again, they're off again. They're going to be 50%, they're going to be 100%, they're going to be 15%. I don't know. So just curious, what are your thoughts? If you live in Europe, do you own any American-made products? And now that I think about it, I hear a lot of people talking about, they are much less likely, a lot of Europeans are much less likely to purchase products made by a company from the United States than they were 6 months ago. So I think our business in Europe is going to go down because of that, regardless of tariffs, just because the consumers are honestly a little angry. So if you live in Europe, what are your thoughts? Are you more or less likely to purchase a product from the United States now? What do you feel about tariffs? What do you think about food from the United States? Are you less likely to eat it because you have safety concerns? Cars from the U.S. Would you purchase a U.S. car if the prices were lower, even though maybe it uses more fuel? I'd love to hear your thoughts. My fellow Americans, let me know what you think. How have the tariffs affected you? Have they affected you at all so far? Personally, I don't think I've seen a lot of influence the time I've been here, but let me know what you think. Appreciate you watching. If you found this interesting, found it helpful, give it a thumbs up, and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.